And now I'll tell you. So, aspect, what they mean is that in Hindi we say planets uh, ki drishti hai, like they have special,
Oh,
you know,
okay.
so they're looking at
Okay.
those planets. Okay,
Right.
so what they
Okay.
will say is aspects. So
Okay.
Jupiter, Saturn, and Mars have special aspects. All
Okay.
planets aspect the seventh house from its.
Seventh house. That's what I was noting. Yeah.
Yeah, but Jupiter, Saturn, and Mars have special aspects.
Okay. Okay.
Okay,
So
and
that's what I was not getting. I said, I don't know. I have to clarify with you that. So now I know. Okay. Thank you.
you're welcome. And last time we also said that Jupiter's aspect, because Jupiter itself is a divine blessing.
Mm-hmm.
So Jupiter's 159, and we know that 159 are also Dharma Trikon.
Mm-hmm.
So there is very special significance of Jupiter's aspects.
159.
Yeah. So one is where the Jupiter is sitting, and
Jupiter is sitting.
yeah,
Yeah.
fifth and the ninth aspects is always beneficial.
Oh, okay.
So even if Jupiter is a functional malefic in any chart,
Mm-hmm.
it's aspecting fifth and ninth. Generally,
Mm-hmm.
for the large part, there will be a beneficial aspect
Beneficial.
to it.
Oh, okay.
To it. Okay. Whereas Mars and Saturn's aspects will be can be negative.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
so they can be very negative aspects. So we have
Okay.
to look at the things carefully.
Okay.
Okay.
Perfect.
Something in the chat.
I think you're going to talk about aspects more, right? Because you were saying last class that you're going to explain more about aspect. How does that work, right?
So I can show you that a little bit right now. I mean, we will be talking about aspects a whole lot
Yeah.
uh, later on, but at this point in time, we should just understand that there are special aspects that Jupiter has, and Saturn has, and Mars has.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so the way we count aspects, just give me a second while this is being loaded. So we know how to count the houses, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
There's one, two, three, four, five, right? So
Yeah.
Jupiter, if Jupiter is sitting here, which houses will it aspect? The fifth house right here and
Mm-hmm.
the ninth house.
Ninth. Yes.
Okay, you count from where the planet is placed. One, two,
Two,
three,
three,
four,
four,
five.
five. Yep.
Then six,
6,
seven,
7,
eight, nine.
8, 9. Yep.
Okay,
And Sanjeev, also 11, like I have written down in Divine Blessings and has the Karkatas of 1, 5, 9, and 11. What is that?
Karkatvas.
Karkatvas,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. So it's a Karak because 11th house is wish fulfillment.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so if Jupiter is aspecting the 11th house, then it's going to fulfill your wishes.
Okay, got it.
Okay. Now, same thing if instead of Jupiter, Mars was here, okay, it will aspect one, two, three,
3,
four,
4.
right here, five, six, seven, right here, and then the eighth house.
Yeah.
Okay. And if Saturn was here, it would aspect 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
Oh,
3, 7, and
May-
10.
I mean, I'm confused here. How is it by some numbering the aspects changes, or how, on what basis the aspect changes?
The aspect does not change. These are numbers you have to remember. So Jupiter aspects 5th and 9th house from itself. Jupiter aspects 5, 7, and 9th house from itself. Mars aspects 4, 7, 8 from itself. And Saturn aspects 3, 7, and 10 from itself. All planets aspect 7th house. So Jupiter, Mars, and Saturn have 2 additional aspects. Okay.
So this is something we have to memorize.
Yeah. Everything that I've been sharing until now, these are the basic building blocks of astrology, and you have to know that stuff.
memorized.
Just like if we build a chart and we're going to analyze a chart, and I ask you to build a Taurus Kundli or a Scorpio Kundli, you guys have to know where the houses are, how to start placing the numbers and all that. Just like that, all these things that I'm sharing about the rashis and planets so far, you have to kind of know that inside out. And this is the crux of astrology. A lot of people want to skip over the basic, the kalkatvas of different things, of the planets, of the houses. And if they don't have those basics very strongly, then they will never understand astrology, or they will never be able to analyze any chart. Correct. Make sense?
Yeah.
Yep.
So we are going to go and start the lesson. So last time we had covered Venus, I believe.
Yes, last one was Venus, yeah.
Okay. So everybody is good with up to Venus. Vicky, were you able to do a little bit?
I went over all these planets which you did last week.
Okay. You were able to make out?
Yeah, because I did the class previous to that, we did I think 3, so I kind of know what is that. So I then went over the rest.
Very good. Very good. Saturn. We'll do Saturn now. So Saturn, remember I said that he's the son of sun god. Okay, his child, his sun god's son. So that's what it's saying, Nilanjan Samabhasan. So everything, whenever you read about Shani, it's about his dark blue or black, the color. Okay, Ravi Putram, he's a son of God. He's a son of sun. Okay, Yamagrajam, Yam is his brother. The god of death, Yam, is his brother. Okay, Chaya Martanda Sambhutam, his mother's name is Chaya. And Tam Namami Shanaishcharam. So we are bowing down to Saturn. Okay, Saturn is the Karm Phal Data. There is nothing in this world, any event can happen if Shani does not bless it. If Shani doesn't want an event to happen, even if Jupiter blesses it, the event will not happen. So Shani has been given that power because he is giving the results of anybody's karma. And therefore, because a lot of karma sometimes is not good, for example, it's probably not as vicious nowadays, but back in the Mahabharata era, there's a story that Bhishma Pitama, when he was on the bed of arrows, he asked Krishna, "What had I done? I can't remember doing any harm, any evil to anybody. And so, what have I done to end up in this bed of arrows?" And Krishna then gave him a divine uh, blessing where he was able to see his past lives. So he went back 100 lives and he saw at that time he was some sort of a king or something, and his army was marching through some village, and somewhere there was some bird or something on the road, and the king said, "Okay, if my army passes, this bird is going to get tramped on, so why don't you move the bird away from the road?" So the workers who went, they just picked it up carelessly and threw that bird, and that bird landed in a bush of thorns.
Oh.
Okay, so Bhishma Pitama, to repay that thing, had to go through, he was lying on a bed of arrows. Okay, so imagine that karma was Bhishma Pitama didn't even know what his workers did, but he was the king and he ordered that karma. Okay, and he didn't follow through, so he had to go through that. So even small karmas, a lot of people have grief in there, and because Saturn has the power to give the results of anybody's karma. So therefore, Saturn also governs grief.
Mhm.
Okay? He represents Vishnu's avatar. Remember, every planet has a Vishnu avatar. So the Kurma avatar, the tortoise avatar, before the Samudra Manthan, the tortoise was born. I've shared that story before. On top of which the Meru mountain was put, and then they kind of churned the
Standard,
ocean.
yeah.
So that Kurma avatar represents Saturn. Okay, it also represents servants and hired help. It represents patience and hard work. Why do you think it represents servants and hired help?
Because of the story you said,
Which story?
the king, he has all these helpers, they did it.
That's related to karma. But
Yeah.
why do you think Saturn represents servants and hired help? Think
They
about
do
the
hard
Kalpurus
work.
Kundi.
Hard work. No.
Think about the Kalpurus.
Because it's very slow moving, so it requires patience, something like that.
Yeah, but servants and hired help, because in the Kalpurush Kundli, who is the ruler of the 10th house?
Uh,
Yeah.
Which is the 10th house?
10th house is Capricorn.
Who's the ruler?
Saturn.
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 Saturn, right?
Yeah.
So that's karma, all the karmic things. So servants and hired help, they're always fulfilling their karma. A very rich person can take rest and not do karma. Okay? But a servant always has to follow orders and they continue to do karma. Okay? Patience, and in that sense, even a CEO is a servant.
Correct.
Okay? So it represents servants and hired help. Patience and hard work, yes. It is the results of karma. Because Saturn is giving you results of karma, sometimes you feel that it's taking too long for me to get the results. So it requires patience. It's the best teacher. So for you to learn your karmic lessons, Saturn plays a very, very important role. It can delay any result it can delay. A person with Saturn in the 7th house can have a delayed marriage. or can have a husband which is much older. Okay, I'm saying the word can, I'm not saying will.
Well, yeah.
Okay, because we have to look at the whole kundli, right? But Saturn in the 7th house can give a delayed marriage, can give an older husband. Yes, Dhruv, go ahead.
So I've heard that usually Saturn is adverse for most people because, like you said, it's the karmafal data. But like, what are there, like, let's say it's very sort of positive for someone. What would be indicators of the fact that it's very positive for someone?
Well, you remember, that company, that guy Lakshmi Mittal?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so his Saturn is very strong. It gave him steel industries. It made him
Yeah.
king of steel industry. So Saturn makes very strong industrialists. When Saturn gives it results, they are long-lasting results.
Right.
They're not temporary. They're not short-term results. Jupiter's blessings can be short-term. Okay, we have to read that chart very carefully. But Saturn, when he blesses, it's a long-term result.
Hmm.
Okay, we know it's an airy planet. Airy planets represents what?
Aries is more flowy and
Intellectuals, right?
intellectuals. Yeah.
Thinkers, visionaries.
Yep.
Okay, so while it's a tamasic planet, it's also airy. Okay, it also gives the power of vision. Okay, because again, it's ruling the 10th house. Okay, so because of those qualities, it can make somebody very, very strong industrialist. The color, as I mentioned before, it's
Black.
dark navy or it's black. Significances: karma, pain, disease, limitation, fear, darkness, and labor and underprivileged class. There's a lot more significances for every planet that I've mentioned. But if you remember this in general, you'll figure out, okay, how is Saturn working in a particular chart? There's nobody who writes a significance for Saturn as huge prosperity, even though it can give you that. Because in general, that's a rare case when we have to look at the overall chart and say, oh, wow, this Saturn is behaving amazingly well. Because remember, I said a natural benefic, even if it's a functional malefic, will give some benefic results. A natural malefic, even if it's a functional benefic, will give some malefic results.
Hmm.
Okay. So it's Lord of the Rashis, Capricorn and Aquarius. It is exalted. It is best in Libra. The Mool Trikon sign is Aquarius. And it is debilitated in Aries. Why Aries? Why is it debilitated in Aries? Who remembers this? Aries is a what sign?
Fire.
Mars.
Fiery sign owned by Mars, correct. And what does that represent? When we think about Mars, what does immediately come to mind?
Fire, yeah.
Aggression.
Fire aggression, yeah.
Commander-in-Chief of the
Commander-in-Chief.
Sun.
But the first thing that comes to mind about Mars is action.
Yes.
Hmm.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
First,
This one is slow moving, so
remember,
And this is slow. That is fast. This is
slow
slow.
moving planet. Mars likes to take action very quickly. So therefore, Saturn is not at all happy there. The third aspect of Saturn is all about efforts and patience. When we get to the third house, we will study that one of the significances of the third house is self-efforts. I've mentioned that in the passing before because we will study about it and I'll put it down. But therefore, the third aspect of Saturn is about self-efforts. And the 10th aspect of Saturn is very important from a karmic aspect. So the next bullet says, whenever Saturn returns to its natal position, there will be a major change or transformation in your life. What does that mean? What do you think that means? Whenever Saturn returns to its natal position?
When it comes to its own
Capricorn or
house,
Aquarius.
Capricorn or Aquarius. When it comes to on his own house, then
So why
it gives you
right whenever it comes back to its owned houses, or when it comes to the houses it owns? Why did I put natal position?
Is
You
it the
mean
Lagna?
natal chart where it
Oh.
was originally in somebody's chart?
Correct.
Okay.
Okay. So that whole cycle takes 30 years to complete because Saturn is 2.5 years in every Rashi. So there's 12 Rashis, 2.5 times 12 is 30 years. So it takes 30 years for Saturn to have a complete cycle. And if you think about otherwise also logically, usually 30 and 60 years are in anybody's life are milestone years. Usually people have finished studies, they've entered workforce, or about to either they have done too much study and they're going to enter workforce at a very significant position where their life will change all of a sudden. They're living very meagerly as a student and they will have tons of revenue coming in, or somebody has graduated, worked 3-4 years, and the first major promotion is around the way. And at 60 years, people are looking to retire or retiring. Then again, a major transformation is coming on their way. How many people have heard the term Shashti Purti?
60th, 60th birthday or something, right?
Yeah. So Shashti Purti is Shashti is standing for 60. Purti means you have completed that. In South India, it's a very major event where people, even in parts of Maharashtra, some people get married again, even in Bengal. Okay, some people get married again. That's considered a second life for a human being, and the reason for that is both Jupiter and Saturn return to their natal position at 60 years. Jupiter takes 12 years to complete a cycle. So in 5 years, it would come back to its natal position. And Saturn also will come back to its natal position. So both Jupiter and Saturn will be at their natal position. It's like a new birth for a person. Many times you will see people who have done very, very well, all of a sudden something really bad happens, or people who have done really, really bad, sometimes really something good happens. And sometimes people have done well, but then a grand promotion or something comes at their 60th year. So I'm not going to discuss this right now, but one of the things we look at to verify events is that event being promised by both Jupiter and Saturn in the transits. Okay, because if both Saturn and Jupiter are promising an event in transit by aspecting the 10th house, for example, somebody's career is going to be very good. If both Jupiter are, they're going to get a major promotion. Something major is going to happen. If both Jupiter and Saturn are also, say, they're aspecting the 7th house, somebody's, or the 7th house from Moon, that person can get married. Okay, so the point I was going to mention and not discuss is that you can think about what happens when Jupiter blesses but Saturn doesn't. Saturn blesses but Jupiter doesn't. Both bless, obviously the event will happen, or both negate. So the challenges will be when one planet is not blessing, the other one is. You have to read the chart very carefully what's going to happen. If it's associated with Moon, association means whether it's conjunct or aspecting the Moon, it will cause major fluctuations in a person's life, like a sine wave. Saturn Moon conjunction is actually considered a Vish yoga. Vish yoga. Okay? Because Moon is about mind, and Saturn will take over, the grief will take over the mind. It's almost like poison. And if there's a Saturn Moon conjunction in any house, we have to look at that house very carefully. It's a pretty easy prediction if Saturn Moon are conjunct in any house regarding that house. Okay, we just need to confirm a few things, but we can say that domain of person's life of that house is going to be highly fluctuating. Saturn's transit from the 12th, 1st, and 2nd house from Moon is called the Sadesati. Okay, so let me explain that.
Sad Sati is a very common term. Sad Sati chal rahi hai.
So say the Moon is here. What does my statement read? If the Saturn is transiting in the 12th, 1st, or 2nd house from Moon. So Moon is here. The 12th house from Moon will be right here. The 1st house from Moon will be right here where the Moon is, and the 2nd house from Moon will be here. So in a transiting Saturn, when Saturn comes here, the Sadesati will start. And why it's called Sadesati is because Saturn stays 2.5 years in every Rashi. So it'll be 2.5 years here, 2.5 years here, and 2.5 years here. It's called a Sadesati. Remember Saturn and Moon? Saturn is taking over the Moon, Saturn is taking over the mind. So it's usually a very stressful time for anybody. not all 7.5 years is very stressful, but it's generally, so people don't know how to really make out which period is going to be worse than others. And for that, we will be looking at dashas to make that out. But usually, at least 2.5 year period can be very, very stressful for someone. But I can tell you one thing. Remember, I said there's nothing good that happens without Saturn's blessings. Therefore, when during this time, during this 7.5 year period, Saturn have a great deal of control over your life. Okay, so if it decides to bless you, a lot of people who like Mahendra Singh Dhoni, for example, Saurav Ganguly, for example, okay, they all became captains during their Saraswati. It requires a lot of hard work, and then Saturn blesses all of a sudden. Those results are permanent. So if somebody has worked hard and everything with discipline, handle the stress, they will get immense blessings from Saturn. So imagine when Mahendra Singh Dhoni became the captain, you guys all know that he went through a lot of stress. He had to take some very senior players out of the team. He had all of a sudden the whole world focused on him, the whole media focused on him. He had no privacy left. So it was a very, very stressful time for him. So some of the best blessings can come during Saraswati, and not a lot of people talk about it because it's easy to scare somebody saying it's your Saraswati and then therefore give them a pie and make some money out of it.
Yeah.
Everybody gets it?
Yeah.
Masi, you understand how Saraswati is counted?
No.
Okay, moon is placed right here, right?
Right.
Where is the 12th house from it? Right here. If you count from here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12.
Okay. This is a different counting. I've never counted like this. I just know the straight counting. That's why I was confused.
But how is it different counting? How is it different counting?
See, this is moon here, right?
Yeah.
Which is, if I count like this, so this house will be like 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9th house, right?
Because you're starting to count from the first house here.
Yes. Yeah. So,
but
yeah.
when I'm saying count from the moon, the 12th, the first, and the second house from moon, not the ascendant, then you'll count from here, right?
Yeah. So from here, how did you count? Moon?
So 1, this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12.
Yeah, this is a new concept, like new way of, I never thought about that. So,
So
okay,
the 12th,
thanks.
the first and the second. So coming back to the previous concept of, say, Mars over here, how do I count its aspect? The fourth aspect, where will it be? Which house will the fourth aspect of Mars be on?
First house.
First house, yeah.
First house here.
You see it?
Aries.
1, 2, 3, 4.
4.
Mars is itself in 10th house, but the fourth house from Mars will be the first house. 1, 2, 3, 4. Where will be the seventh aspect be?
5, 6, 7.
Fourth house.
Fourth.
Fourth.
5, 6, 7, and the 8th house will be right here. So
Right.
same thing, Jupiter can be placed here. Okay,
Okay.
and it has fifth, 7th, and 9th aspect. So I'll count from here: 1, 2,
2,
3,
3,
4,
4,
5.
5.
Okay, on the 10th house, 11, 12. That's a, sorry, 5, 6, 7. That's a 12.
7.
And then 8, 9, second house. Now
Yep.
Jupiter is placed in the 6th house here. 6th house is a bad house normally, but Jupiter's aspects on the 10th and the 2nd will make a person's career and give him lots of wealth.
Okay. Yeah.
That's why aspects are very important to know. And it's very important to understand how aspects will be counted or are counted.
So just to again revise it, if Jupiter is here, which is 6th house right now, so when you count, so 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, is that's how you will count? If you can put the numbers there, how you will count, that will help me. So Jupiter is number 1, for example, here.
No, Jupiter
No.
will never be number 1.
No, right here, when it is. So right now, I mean, if you count like this, is house number 6, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
Jupiter is in the 6th house. From the 6th house, it will aspect the 10th house, the 12th house, and the 2nd house. Okay? Because Jupiter aspects 5th, 7th, and 9th house from where it's placed. So it's placed here. So when I count, I'll count this as number 1, the 6th
Yeah.
house as number 1, 7
Yeah.
as 2, 8 as 3, 9 as 4, and 5th aspect on the 10th house. So Jupiter will be aspecting the 10th house. It will aspect the 12th house, 6, 7. It will aspect the 2nd house, 8, 9.
Correct.
Okay.
So even though it is not in a good house, Jupiter itself, but because of its aspect, it is aspecting the 10th house, which is probably, I think, the career. It
Yes.
is, yeah, so it is good if it is in the 6th house, but as itself in 6th house, it's not good.
Not a good.
Well, we have to see how is Jupiter in that particular chart.
Okay.
Okay. Obviously, it's not good because it's a Triyadasha house, right?
Yeah.
So it's not good from that perspective. But we have to look what kind of results is Jupiter going to give. See, in this chart, in the Kalpurush Kundli, if Jupiter is placed here, see, as a 12th lord, the 6th, it's not a bad thing. Two negatives make, cancel each other out to some degree. But as a 9th lord, which is your luck in the 6th house, that's not very good. Because now your luck is not in a good house.
Yeah.
Okay. But Jupiter will give its divine blessings on your career and your wealth. So we have to understand where is the luck and when is that luck in the 6th house, when is that bad luck going or the good luck not going to function. We have to look at that through the dasha. But from a static chart, we can say that here Jupiter, okay, it can give somebody pretty good career and wealth because it's aspecting the 10th and the 2nd house. And we'll study more about how planets behave in different houses when we get to houses. but I'm just starting to give you guys plant seeds and you guys get some understanding about this.
Thank you, Manu, for explaining it. So it makes sense, but I forget. I have to read a lot to understand, which I will do.
I think we all have to do that.
That's
So,
true,
Masi,
yeah.
we are all in the same boat. Don't worry.
I feel you are all much better than
No,
takes me
we
longer
study.
to understand.
When we study, we know, okay, but when Sanjiv asks, everything goes blank right away. We don't remember anything.
I don't know. I'll remember all the Rashis, all the lords, and I did, but when he asked questions, blank out.
Blank out, yes.
And that's very natural. That's very natural. I know of some astrologers who have been, say, studying for 2, 3 years, but when you and they know a lot of these concepts that I'm teaching you now. But when we start to analyze chart and we start to look at charts, and like sometimes I can overlook something. They also overlooked something, and you go, but hey, remember this? And they go, oh yeah, you know. So don't be too hard on yourselves. It's very natural. Remember how many times we forgot the spelling of cat when we were first studying it?
But this thing, because for me, I'm so feel grown up and I keep forgetting the same thing. No more. So it feels like, ooh, what I'm doing here. But it's very interesting. So I do spend time to understand. Hopefully one day I can discuss with you.
I think we feel that we are harder on ourselves than we need to, really, because we think we are older, we must know, but for some reason the memory doesn't work that way.
True. But since I'm putting so much effort in there, I think my memory works better here to memorize. Otherwise, I cannot memorize stuff anymore, but I am able to do somewhat. So
Yeah.
that's good.
I think if you do a little bit of practice and we continue to do what we are doing, you know, like I said, that we will be covering every concept so many times that it will become pretty natural to you.
Yeah.
Okay. So the last point, something, it's called, like Sadesati, it's called Dhaya. If Saturn is transiting from fourth or eighth house from natal moon, that can also be very difficult periods, especially the eighth house. It's called Ashtam Shani and it's called Dhaya. It's not like a Sadesati, but it's a 2.5 year of stressful period, especially if Dasha is bad. But a Dhaya can also give great rise to a person. Rahu. So, in one of the lectures, Tejas had asked me, I think we were talking about Saturn and Sun being enemies, even though they're father and son. And Tejas had asked me if that's like a yin and yang, that they balance each other out. And I said, no, don't think of that as yin and yang because they are enemies. They will behave as enemies. It's not about balancing each other. But then I thought about it that yin and yang are pretty universal concepts. Okay. They apply in everything. I mean, Newton's law says every action produces equal reaction. Okay. So yin and yang have to work in our Vedic astrology too. And then, yes, it's Rahu and Ketu who are really behaving yin and yang. Rahu is all about illusions. It's all about wanting to be larger than life. Ketu is all about liberation. It's severing all ties. Just by looking at a person's chart where the Rahu and Ketu are placed, we can tell a lot about that person. We may not be able to say how this person's life events will be, but we can tell a lot about that person. Where will be the focus area of this person? If you look at Rahu, the mantra over here, Ardhakaya Mahaviryam. Ardhakaya means, remember I said it's a snake with chopped off head and tail separate. So Ardh, he's half, just the head portion. Mahaviryam, he's very brave. Okay. And then they say that Simhika is his mother and Chandraditya Vimardhanam, because he eclipses the sun and the moon. Chandra, Aditya. Chandra is moon and Aditya is sun.
Sun.
Chandraditya Vimardhanam. Vimardhanam, Rahu has that power. He was granted that boon that he can create eclipses. In a way, he is eating the sun or he's eating the moon. Rahu is an illusion and a very unconventional planet. Okay, so somebody, these people do things out of the norm. They won't follow the proven track. They will try to be very innovative. They will try to do things differently. They'll try to improve the process. So imagine when internet came, okay? It's all about Rahu. A lot of film stars, people who go into modeling, movie making, movie itself is represented by Rahu. It's all illusion, larger than life. Sometimes if people will say that, like for me, my parents will say that I'm very unconventional. I don't follow I will do what I think is right. I will evaluate in many ways, and I won't necessarily follow the norm. I'm more accepting of people who may do tattoos, for example, or people who may have earrings, guys who may have earrings. I'm more accepting of them. I will be so Rahu is very unconventional in his approach. In a career, Rahu will be very unconventional also. He will find new ways, but it will be ways that somebody is going to that's going to give that person a great recognition. Yes.
So that means, sorry. So I'm just thinking, is that goes with that Elon Musk, the Tesla guy?
Yes.
Yeah.
Along with Rahu, he will have other strong planets also, because one thing is whatever Rahu gives, he takes it back because it's all illusion.
Oh, okay.
Okay, but film stars are usually, they have a prominent Rahu in there. People who are modeling, they typically have a Rahu in their thing. Digital, anything to do online and digital technology is Rahu. I'm saying technology, digital technology. I'm not saying I'm not saying data analytics, for example, or IT, for example. I'm not saying that. I'm saying digital technology. There's marketing and then there's digital marketing. So that digital marketing is because there will be marketing aspect of third house, but as well as there will be a Rahu involved there or an 8th house involved there. Rahu is equated to the 8th house.
Okay.
He represents the, Dhruv, you had a question?
No, I didn't have a question. I was going to say that I've heard about Rahu and Ketu, that one is the head and the other is the body. And what that represents is one acts without thinking and the other keeps thinking but cannot act.
That's very true. That's very true. So Rahu is Rahu. Well, I won't say cannot act, keeps thinking. Rahu has the head. So logically, he will have the thinking aspect of it. Okay, because he has the head. But Rahu also acts. But Rahu is all about materialistic illusions, all those things. Ketu, on the other hand, Rahu is very extrovert, Ketu is very introvert. So in that sense, one may become reserved, not wanting to go out, meet with friends, and all that. Okay, so it's not that he's not acting, but he's acting in a very different, in a very in a very introverted way. Ketu is about liberation. It's about finding yourself within you. That's the only planet that can give you liberation. Ultimate thing that Hindus like, moksha. Ketu is the only planet that can grant you moksha, not even Jupiter. Jupiter's blessings on it will enhance the results, but Ketu is the only planet that can give you liberation. Ketu is equated to the 12th house because the 12th house is of liberation. The only way to manage a Ketu is to let go of things. Whenever there is some 12th house active in somebody's chart or Ketu is active in somebody's chart, that person has to let go, forget about that event. The more that person thinks about that event, he's going to face more and more grief. The only way one can protect from Ketu is by letting go. Ketu also represents scissors and knives because it's cutting. It cuts you off from everything else. Okay, Rahu on the other side is tying you into everything. It represents foreign. So somebody's Rahu, depending on how it's placed, say it's placed in the 10th house, we can say that he will have some work associated with some foreign country. Somebody's Rahu in the 1st house, we can say this person, or in the 12th house, we'll say that this person will move to some foreign country. Rahu is attachment and desires. And attachment and desires, they are given by which houses?
Rahu?
11.
Oh, 11. Oh.
3, 6, 11. And that's why all the suffering is there. That's why Parasha Rishi has said that Trishadaya houses, 3, 6, 11 houses are the worst houses in any chart. Even though 11th house is wish fulfillment, but it's also tied to desires. It is only when you have a desire to achieve something, not getting that thing gives you grief. When there is an expectation, when there is a want, that's when the suffering comes, when it doesn't happen. Rahu has not been given lordship of any houses, or it's not, there are texts that describe, different texts describe where Rahu may be exalted. But in general, I would say it's co-owner of Aquarius. So along with Saturn, Rahu has the lordship of Aquarius. Bhavya, did you have a question?
Yeah, I wanted to ask why specifically Aquarius? Because Saturn also has Capricorn, right? So why only Aquarius? And the second part of the question was, how do they, like, since they are both co-lords, how do they interact with each other in the Kalpurish Kundli?
How do they interact with each other? Well,
because they both are, like, technically speaking, because since they have the lordship, they're both on the driving seat, right?
Well, yes and no, because you have to look at the whole chart, how the planets are placed. But think of Rahu as acting as another Saturn. It's not the karma phal data, but it can give you some very similar suffering. Okay. It is Aquarius because what type of sign is Aquarius? It's airy. What type of sign is Capricorn? It's earthy. Rahu is unconventional. He's very intelligent. He's a thinking planet, so he's got to be airy. Okay. So Jupiter, remember we said Jupiter gives growth and expansion to wherever it's placed. Rahu gives great expansion. So all of the rags to riches stories or people winning lotteries, they will have, like big lotteries, they will have something to do with Rahu. Only Rahu can give great expansion. And remember I said Rahu takes away a lot of what it has given. So if you read the statistics on lottery winners, they are bankrupt within 5 years. I can't imagine in my wildest of minds how can somebody be bankrupt after winning $100 million within 5 years. But there are documented cases of people going bankrupt within 5 years after winning $100 million or $50 million or $60 million.
So should we say is the Graha Dasha that makes, because working at the bank, we always saw people blowing money. They win something or the inheritance. Oh, I'm going to pay off my debt. I'm going to buy a house. I'm this, that. They never think of investing money or anything. So is the Dasha, I mean, the Rahu or whatever the planet is there that's governing their life, that has something more to do with it than the person themselves.
Most likely their dasha will be running some sort of a Rahu, whether a Mahadasha or Antardasha or a Pratyantra Dasha, they will have Rahu running there.
But on the other hand, Rahu makes you win also, like you said.
It gives you rags to riches story. It is the only planet that gives great expansion.
And then it takes it away.
Then it takes it away. That's why Rahu, whatever it gives, it's a suffering and it's a pain. Because
without, if let's say I'm not an astrologer, but for whatever reason, I see somebody who get all of a sudden windfall. So should it strike to me, hey, this person should be careful, otherwise they are going to lose what they have earned, or what? Is it true in most of these?
So a lot of the times it is true, but a windfall gain usually is given by Rahu. And if you check their dasha, if it's the Rahu dasha running, then you know, okay, Rahu is here. Then you have to see, is it a Mahadasha of Rahu or an Antardasha of Rahu or a Pratyantra Dasha of Rahu? Because a Pratyantra Dasha is very small dasha.
Right.
If somebody wins, say, a windfall gain like $60 million, okay, in a 1.5 year period, probably he will not go bankrupt. Okay, so we have to examine the dashas carefully. But if somebody is running a Mahadasha of Rahu and this person's all of a sudden got a windfall gain, yes, you can look at the dashas and how the other planets are placed. You can almost time the event when by which time this person's money will go away.
I mean, this is another question. If we know something like this is going to happen, looking at their chart, is there any way you can alert a person, hey, if you are not careful, this is going to happen, or anything, or it's going to happen no matter what?
So there is prarabdha. There are things, remember I said the astrology that I practice is basically synchronizing your karma with your chart. And if you're getting pain and suffering, say from an 8th house or a 12th house, I can ask you to do certain things which are also significances of that house other than the pain and suffering. And then we have activated the other significances of that house, and we can temper some of the results that you're getting. But there are certain cases where you cannot change the destiny. No matter what you do, it is destined to happen. But we never will tell our client that. Okay, I was recently seeing a chart of somebody very, very close to us, and that person got married maybe a month and a half after our daughter did, and they're going through huge challenges from day one almost. And the one thing I could tell them is, look, this is destined. It doesn't matter you run away from this relationship and get into another relationship. You're going to go through this. So give it time. Try to work things out. If you want things to work, if you want them to work out, I can give you other remedies like to lessen the impact, like do some pilgrimage or do some other things. But you will have tough time. If somebody's Saturn is in the 7th house, or somebody's Mars is in the 7th house, that person is going to have some challenges with the married life no matter what. Because Mars and Saturn will give their result. It's a karmic debt that you have to pay. You cannot run away from that karmic debt. We can reduce the intensity of the pain by giving you, like I said, you can go do donations or Tirth Yatra or something. But there's no way for me to change that karma where they will not face that pain.
See,
Or some-
पुराने जमाने में लोग पत्री मिलाते थे, right?
Hmm.
So these kinds of things, were they less than now? Because now they just don't believe in anything like that.
Absolutely.
They just get married, okay, I like it and all that. Like you said,
I
this
believe
person,
100% in this, that when you do a matchmaking, these are the things people are looking for to reduce the negative effects. Okay, but like you said, I don't even do matchmaking because in this country it doesn't work. People are not, it's who you fall in love with, and that's all that matters.
but then I was just reading about something like that. They said राम और सीता की जब शादी हुई, उनके कितने गुण, सारे गुण मिलते थे, 36-38 जो भी था. Still they had to go through this. So that is karmic effect of.
Yeah,
So
and if you look at Bhagwan Ram's Kundli, you can see that he will have a tough time in his marital life.
yeah. So in the end, everything comes out.
Karmic, it's all
good.
karmas.
Yeah,
And
it is all
karma.
about karma.
Yeah.
That's why I
Karmas.
said that any horoscope is basically a blueprint of your karma.
Karmas.
And remember, I said there's 3 types of karma. There's a Sanchit karma, which is all the karma from all the lifetimes. Then there's Prarabdha, which is destined for this lifetime. And the last part is Kriyaman, which is basically your will.
Your
Wills.
wills. Okay.
Very little. It's within a very tight line that you can exercise that will. For example, this person that I was speaking to belongs to a different religion. Okay, so he does not. Now, for one thing, I said, look, I have a challenge in equating. All my shastras are written with Hindu gods. I don't know how to equate your gods to it, but I can say go on this spiritual journey where you can take a river bath. If there is some sarovar or something in your, temple,
Religion.
yeah, in your religion, if there is by the temple, if there's some sarovar, there's some river, go take that bath. Okay, do those things. But that guy goes, I don't believe in it. What can you do? So his prarabdha is not even allowing him to exercise any self, to
Exercise and yeah.
listen to an advice and do something about it.
But for argument's sake, we say our Sanatan Dharma or whatever, a person, American or Canadian who's born here, I mean, even if you talk to them reincarnation or something, even they don't believe, they don't want to hear about it because they said, they call it um, like a shaitan, whatever, satanic kind of thing. So they said, no, 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 we are not interested in listening or something. So, I mean, there is a difference. So our kids grew up here and if you talk to them, they say, अगर वो चोर बन गया, उसको चोरी करनी है, तो वो चोरी करेगा, उसके कर्मों में ऐसा लिखा, तो what do you answer to that? I mean,
You don't need to argue with anyone.
yeah, no, I know, but sometime when you're sitting, these things come up, right? तो फिर हम खुद ही कंफ्यूज हो जाते हैं कि अगर कर्म में ऐसा लिखा है या तुम्हारी पत्री में है कि तुम एक अच्छे आदमी नहीं बनोगे, पर्सन नहीं बनोगे, तुमको सक्सेस नहीं मिलेगी, then but we say you do your karma, you do your hard work.
I was looking at a chart when I was studying many years ago. जिसमें so this guy was from Calcutta during the Naxalite movement, if you remember that.
Mhm.
Okay. That guy was actually a murderer because he was part of the Naxalite movement and everything. But he came from a very, very good family, like a total Orthodox Brahmin Bengali family. Okay. And my Guruji, like whose books I read, K.N. Rao, had advised him, go and spend time in an ashram. So that guy went to Belur Math. And he never got arrested. He never got arrested and he became a very decent chap. Okay. So ये भी आपकी पत्री में लिखा होगा
कि ऐसे बेलूर मठ में जाओगे और तुम्हारी पर्सनालिटी और तुम्हारा
बेलूर मठ में जाएगा
change हो
because उनको तो बस आश्रम के लिए कहा because also कि वो बंदा सुनेगा भी.
Correct, yeah.
Okay. Think of, so your question about people who are Americans or people who are not in India, in fact, are they exercising self-will or are they just living product? Are they reducing karmic debt or not?
Yeah. So, I mean, according to, like they go to church, they give so much donation or whatever, maybe it helps them. I don't know.
Yeah, that's all good karma. But
Yeah.
there's others who don't follow that.
Yeah. Like
But people who
I
go
don't have to go too far. My kids, I tell them, go to temple. They say, no. And I say, even Christians do that. You people don't do anything, neither puja at home, no go to temple or anything. God has blessed, so, all that. So these things are so confusing for
I
children.
don't
So,
think that's a topic for another day, but I think,
oh no,
yeah,
sorry.
yeah, I mean, we shouldn't be confused. We have to have confidence in our faith and our belief. Okay. And we do not have the accountability to convince anybody. Okay. We leave that to the universe. Okay. If they want an opinion, we can offer an opinion. Like I had Roshni over yesterday, Vicky,
Mhm.
and we were just talking about children, and we were on this topic. Like today, even if we need to offer opinion to our children, we have to ask them: are you just venting? Am I a sounding board, or do you want me to offer an opinion on it? Only
Mhm.
ask me, yes, offer an opinion, then I will.
Well, opinion,
No,
yeah.
That's true, yeah.
you know.
Sorry, I took a lot of your time without
No,
any.
no, it's always good to talk about.
Well, I get carried away with these things. This is my favorite topic.
Yeah.
Rahu is the bravest planet because it can break boundaries. It has the capacity so to break boundaries. Rahu can also give spiritual travels. Rahu placed in the ninth house can give you very good spiritual travels. It can make you meet renowned saints. It can make you meet your guru. Okay. But Rahu's spirituality is very different than a Ketu's spirituality. So if a Rahu is doing a pilgrimage, what will that person do?
Will meet and later forget about it or something? Will not,
Follow the
yeah,
no
will not follow it for a long time. But Ketu, since it is connected to liberation, it'll probably the
stay
person
with that.
yeah, stay
So
with that.
Ketu will also work within the Dasha period, and Rahu will also work within the Dasha period.
I
Okay.
think it would be more of like grand, like in terms of staying wise or like, doing certain things. It will be like, I don't know, like
Rahu,
larger than usual.
Rahu, if he goes on a pilgrim, he will first take a picture
Yes.
and then
Okay.
post it on Facebook.
That's right, because it's all
Yeah.
photography
Okay.
and illusion
That's
and
showing off. It's unconventional, it's showing off, it's larger than life.
life.
Okay.
Yes.
So Rahu will be first taking pictures and posting and announcing to the world, look, I'm doing this, I'm doing that. Ketu, on the other hand, will be in one spot and totally
Just
dhyan.
totally in there.
Everybody
Right.
understood dhyan magna? Bhavya
Yeah.
and Anamika, you understood that? Okay, good. So I said Rahu gives rags to riches story. Meditating Shiva. Meditating Shiva, doing Jal Abhishek is a very, very good remedy for Rahu. Also, worshipping Lord Krishna is a very good remedy for Rahu, because Lord Krishna, remember that story about Kalinag,
Yeah.
when he jumped into the river and he fought the Kalanag
Kalidag.
in the Jamna River.
Right.
Okay, so he overcame the Kalinag, right? So Lord Krishna, worshipping Lord Krishna or meditating on Shiva, doing Jalabhishek is a very, very beneficial during Rahu Dasha.
Can I ask a question here? When you say meditating, like when you put jal, we put here one drop, right? तो कुछ 108 बार शिव को ध्यान करना चाहिए या 8 बार 5 बार कुछ भी कर लो, इज इट?
नहीं नहीं, ऐसा नहीं है, एक ड्रॉप नहीं, हम लोग तो यहाँ पे एक पूरा ग्लास
लोटा।
बना देते हैं।
नहीं, पर घर पे तो नहीं कर सकते ना।
मंदिर में जाके, ऑब्वियसली
हाँ।
मंदिर में जाके।
हाँ, घर पे जो करते हैं।
हाँ, नहीं, मंदिर में जाके meditating शिव, doing Jalabhishek is always good at the mandir.
We don't have a mandir also where you can do that. Yeah.
I noticed something interesting, that the shape of Rahu that's given over there, that's also the shape that usually you see on hooded cobras, on the back of the hooded cobras.
Yeah. Okay, I'm going to go over the next slide very quickly. Are you all okay to stay 5 minutes later if we need to?
Yeah. 5 minutes is okay.
So Ketu is a south node. It enhances spirituality. Okay, it is the Matsya avatar, the fish. Gives detachment from material things, and it provides liberation. The significances are spirituality, occult, yoga, liberation. The co-owner, he's the co-owner of the Rashi Scorpio. Ketu is best placed in the Moksha Trikona houses. Which are the Moksha Trikona houses?
1, 4, 7, 10.
1, 4, 7, 10.
Trikona house is that, right? One in general, in your properly counted.
1, 4, 7, 10 are Kendra houses.
Oh, Trikona is 5, 7, 9.
2,
7,
6,
7.
2, 6, 10. No, 2,
Oh,
6, 10.
2, 6, 10 are Earth Trikon.
Oh, at 159.
159 is Dharma Trikon.
The
4, 8, and 12.
Yes,
that's the moksha? No.
that's Moksha Trikon houses.
Yeah,
Oh,
moksha
Trikon.
house.
Well,
If you think about 12, if you remember that 12th house is a house of liberation, then it's easy to count. Trikon houses are always 5 and 9, right? So the fifth house from 12 will be fourth house, and the ninth house from 12 will be eighth house. You guys can practice that in your charts by making an empty chart, and you can count from the 12th house which will be the fifth house and which will be the ninth house, and you will see 4 and 8 will come up.
Sanjiv, can you please repeat that? What did you just say?
About
this
Houses.
Yeah.
Moksha house.
so Trikon always means 3 houses. Okay.
correct.
Dharma Trikon is 159.
Mhm.
Mhm.
Earth Trikon, if you remember, the second house is Earth. Count the 5 houses from there: 2, 3,
2,
4, 5,
6,
6,
and
and then
10.
6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
9, 10.
10 will be
Yeah.
the Earth Trikon. Calm, if you remember, the desires start at the third house. Okay, so count the fifth house from third house: 3, 4,
7th.
5, 6, 7, and
Then
then
11.
11th house.
Right.
Okay, so same thing with Moksha Trikon. It will be
4, 8, 1.
4, 8, 12. If you remember the 12th house, count the fifth house from the 12th house, it'll be the fourth house. Count
4th house.
the ninth house from the 12th house, it'll be the eighth house. So 4, 8, 12.
Okay.
Somebody with Ketu can also get a lot of wealth depending on how Ketu is placed. But Ketu's wealth will not give you attachment. A lot, you have heard about some people donating most of their wealth away.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's their Ketu. Ketu is always looking out for the society. He is not attached to any material. It's all about spirituality for Ketu. Ketu's wealth actually will form a means to give him greater liberation. Okay, so what I will say, we will close it here. I have shared a couple more slides with you guys. Okay, one is I've given you a South Indian chart. It is easier to remember the lordships over here because here it is. If you start from here, the sun and the moon, you go up from moon, you'll see Mercury here. You come down from sun, you'll see Mercury here. You go one more house, you'll see Venus here, you'll see Venus here. You'll see Mars here, you'll see Mars here. You'll see Jupiter here, you'll see Jupiter here, and then these.
All right.
Okay. So I've given you this chart because sometimes for some people it helps them memorize the lordships easier. Okay. I've also given you this
Yeah,
chart.
this chart.
Yeah. So where basically I've presented the lordships. This is the Kal Purush Kundli.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, guys, I'm going to be away for about 6 weeks. I'm going to India. And so I won't be able to do classes for the next 6 weeks. I'm returning on June 14th. So the first Monday after that, we'll probably hold a class. In the meantime, I will send you maybe a couple of slides on houses and what each house represents. Okay,
Mhm.
body parts and what they represent. So these are stuff that we need to memorize. This is all of the stuff that we need to memorize. These are the basics. And if you guys can go over that while I'm away, Then we'll start assuming everybody knows their basics, and we'll start with what happens when the first lord is in the first house, what happens when first lord is in the second house, in the third house, fourth house, fifth house, what happens when the second lord is in the second house, third house, fourth house, fifth house. We can go over that. We can start from that point on. But everything until now, we like, and what I will send you about what the houses represent, I won't send you a complete list, but at least the basics that you must know. Okay. So if you guys can go over that and practice, then when I come back, it's like we've only missed a couple or 3 classes, because it would have taken me that much time to go over the houses anyway.
Yeah, that sounds good.
You enjoy your trip?
Thank you.
Yes,
Enjoy
have a
your
wonderful
yeah.
trip. Yes.
Yeah.
Be
It's
safe.
gonna be spiritual one for him, I think, this trip.
That is so nice. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, I hope all your spiritual journey will be all safe and enjoyable, and you achieve whatever you're going for.
Thank you, Vicky. Appreciate
Yes.
it.
All right.
Okay.
Thank you so much, Sanjiv. Have a good
I'll
night.
reach out to you. If you guys,
Bye.
if anybody's practicing and have a question, WhatsApp me.
Okay.
Yeah.
Perfect. Yeah.
Sure.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay.
Okay,
Good.
Sanjeev.
All
Thank
right.
you.
Bye.
Okay. Good luck.
Bye.
Yeah.
Bye.
Good
Bye.
time.
Bye.
Yeah. Bye.
Bye.
So Munnu,
Amasi?
so you're all ready to go? Thursday is just coming. Today is Monday.
Yeah.
Yeah, very, very. So I think Amol is going in May also.
Oh, is he?
Yeah, but मेरे को date नहीं पता, but he's going.
Oh,
And I saw them yesterday. So I think he will be in Delhi for a couple of days. So I thought, but he said he's staying with Mama. So I said, oh, but I didn't say anything. I don't interfere.
yeah.
So yeah, so I don't know when he's going to be there, because Rupal was asking me about the Avi's hair. She still has it.
Okay.
So how to go to Chintpurni Mata? मैंने कहा मेरे को तो ज्यादा नहीं ओ तुम्हारा रिकॉर्डिंग चल रहा है